what's up, Giants fans, Hub watchers, YouTube subscribers, Twitter and Instagram followers? It is your boy Noname back at it again with another New York Giants video. Y'all know what it is. Y'all know how we do it over here. Listen, today we're going to talk about Evan Engram, and it's a topic that I've wanted to talk about since, I don't know, a while now. I want to say a couple months. Definitely before the offseason, like we really got into the offseason, and for me the Giants offseason began right after week 17 ended. That's my opinion. I know there's like an official date for it or something, but I've been wanting to talk about it for a while now, simply because what are we going to do with Evan Engram? And Evan Engram, for those of you who might need a reminder, Evan Engram, the first round pick by the New York Giants in 2017, a good football player with the potential to be great. He played at Ole Miss, his alma mater, also Eli's alma mater. He was taken with a 23rd overall pick in the 2017 draft. Most people back then viewed it as a luxury pick. Most people even now viewed it as a luxury pick. There was other things we needed to address, most importantly the offensive line. And that was part of the reason, I'm not saying Evan Engram is the reason the Giants collapsed in 2017 from their 2016 playoff run, but I'm saying the choices they made in that offseason, especially within the draft, is definitely part of that reasoning. I mean, they definitely should have addressed the offensive line and the run game that offseason, and they didn't, and it came back to really hurt them like immediately. He was a luxury pick, and today people still view him as a luxury pick because that's what it is. And he's a good tight end. Like I said, he's a good tight end with the potential to be great. Stands at 6'3", 240 pounds, and got some good size to him. But what really marks off Evan Engram on the page, what really stands out about him to any and everybody, is his speed. He's probably the fastest tight end in the league, and if he's not, there's only one person I believe that's faster than him at that position, that being George Kittle. Evan Engram blew everybody away at the 2017 draft combine with his 40 run time. I think he had a 4.42 40-yard dash, which is like one of the fastest times for a tight end. And he shows that, that speed on the field whenever he gets a chance to, whenever he's out there and he's making plays. It's usually through his speed. And like I said, he does have a good size to him. Evan Engram in his first offseason, right off of his rookie season, which, by the way, to this day I think is still his best season as a Giant. Going over the stats here, in 2017, his rookie season, he has 64 receptions for 722 yards, averaging 11.3 yards per carry with 6 touchdowns. And since then, he's just gone down. But Evan Engram, when he has the chance, is making plays. And like I said, in that offseason, he went into the offseason and worked on things that was his weaknesses. He really worked on bulking up, and he gained weight. He gained muscle mass, and he worked on his blocking. He came in 2018, and when he was on the field, he still had that 40 speed. It seemed that the muscle mass didn't slow him down, and there was a noticeable improvement in blocking. He still wasn't, he wasn't like, I guess, Rob Gronkowski out there with the blocking or anything, but he was better, and he worked on it, and that's something that a lot of people liked. However, the story remains the same. It's when he's out on the field. You say the same thing for 2019, just this season that passed. He went into the offseason. He didn't really bulk up much because he didn't need it. I believe he was at a perfect size for a player of his caliber. Don't want to hamper that speed at all. All he did was work on his blocking. He came in, work on his route running, and he was doing great whenever he was in there. But that's the problem with Evan Engram, and that's the whole reason this video is even a thing. He is injury prone. Engram, in his entire career as an NFL star, and it feels weird saying that because he's so young. Once again, he's only 25 years old. He was drafted in the 2017 draft. That's just 3 years ago. But he hasn't played a full season yet. Every single year he comes in, he's injured. And, you don't want to put the label of injury prone on someone when their career is like all this short. You haven't seen, in my opinion, enough of a player until they're 4 or 5 years deep. That's when you really know what they are, what they do, how good they are. I think they hit their ceiling at that point. At least most players, that's when you know whether they're actually injury prone or not. Because Engram is only there for 3 years, but every year he comes in, he says he's going to try and play the full 16 games. He says he's going to try and play the full schedule, and then he's knocked out mid-season, or he's knocked out early in the season, or maybe sometime down the stretch. Who knows? He's just not there. He's not reliable in that aspect. His body isn't reliable. And for that reason, Engram has just been a non-factor on the Giants. I mean, his best year was 2017 when we went 3-13. So he wasn't a losing effort, and part of the reason he had his best year was because he was the main weapon on the roster. You know, OBJ was out for a lot of 2017. The entire receiving core was out, so that definitely has something to do with it. And Engram was kind of just shining because he was the only reliable target. 2018, we all thought was going to be a breakout year for him. You know what I'm saying? We got the new head coach. We got the new offensive line around him. We got Saquon, and he did do good, but I can't remember exactly when he got injured in 2018, but he definitely did get injured, and he was knocked out at one point, and he missed a lot of games that affected him, and for some reason, he didn't seem quite too fit with the scheme, and whether or not that was affected by the fact that, you know, you have a lot of weapons on the team at that point, you kind of have to share the ball, or whether it was just he didn't fit, who knows. 2019 was another year we thought he could have a breakout season, and he looked like he was going to have that, you know, over the course of like the first 3-4 games, where he was on pace to have like 1,200 yards this season or something like that, and then boom, he's gone. Just like that. Just like, I think it was week 5 or 6. Whatever the case is, he was on pace to have a great season, and then his body failed him. And we did, quite frankly, all the times he was knocked out, with the exception being 2017, because, well, that was the year we went 3-13. The tight end position remained fine. It was almost no difference without him there. And like I said, this could be the scheme. Maybe Shermer for 18 and 19. Maybe, you know, the scheme with the tight end just made it so that it looked like Engram wasn't there. Or maybe it's the fact that we just use our tight ends in such a way that it's like they could be replaced, you know, or we just found somebody good in a Caden Smith. And when Ellison is in there, I consistently say this about Ellison, he's an underrated pass catcher. You know, all these factors come together. It's like, do we need Evan Engram? You know what I mean? Because when his time comes, he might demand some type of max contract, even though, in my opinion, he doesn't deserve it. And I'm not trying to take shots at Engram or anything. I'm not saying he's a bad player. I'm not saying he's a bad person, but he doesn't deserve a max contract at his position. But it's, you know, it's very plausible that he'll demand that when his time comes. You know, he's not a George Kittle. He's not a Travis Kelce. And maybe if he wasn't injury prone, he could be. But our guys back there in Caden Smith, who performed admirably and performed really good down the stretch because he was the guy filling in for Ellison and for Engram, and he showed out. He showed up, he showed out. He could be our tight end in the future. Maybe it's, you know, some dude like Ellison, if not Ellison himself, you know, with a restructured contract, whatever the case is. It just seems that the Giants find good tight ends to replace Engram whenever he's injured. And it's been shown in the league before, much like with the running back position, the tight end position is something you could find deep in the draft. You could find these guys anywhere from the 1st round to the 7th round, and they'll work out for you. So it's not as though Engram is a priority to keep. I mean, even like if we talk about the priority list, you'd probably go your quarterback and, you know, then your offensive line, then a playmaker on defense. And if you go like on the Giants priority list, it's these guys that are coming up that need their contracts. You're putting Daniel Jones first in mind, then it's Saquon. Then it's a couple dudes on the offensive line. Shepard and Tate, they already got their contracts. Maybe if we sign a big name free agents on the defense, then it's them. Like, Evan Engram is nowhere near the top. He's down at the bottom. And once again, it's not an insult to him. It's just that this specific position for the Giants has good depth there, and it's not that important right now. And I am aware that the system, the offensive system that Jason Garrett runs, that he's bringing in here, which the name I can't pronounce, I think it's Air Coryell or something like that. I know it does use the tight end heavily. You know, Jason Witten is a great example of that. That offensive scheme relies on the run game and the pass game through the tight end. But I think we'll be fine without Engram. I mean, like I said, once again, going back to Caden Smith, going back to the fact that you could find these guys in the draft, that, you know, they're deep throughout every single draft in like the history of the NFL. It's also that while it does rely on the tight end, it's not as though it completely ignores the wide receivers. Perfect example, that T.O. and Des Bryant. I believe we'll be fine with somebody like a Caden Smith there in the tight end position, and then we have weapons like a Darius Slayton and a Sterling Shepard, maybe even somebody else on the outsides, you know, other receiving options, Saquon when he comes out the backfield. I think we'll be fine. I mean, and Engram, once again, he's just not on the priority list, and because of his injuries, I don't see any reason for the Giants to keep him, and I'm going to say that. I don't see any reason for them to keep him, and I'm not particularly motivated to keep him, and I really like him. I want him to stay a Giant, but if we let him go, it's not like I'm going to throw a fit or anything. It's not like the OBJ situation where I was like, I understood the reasoning behind it, but I still didn't like it. It's nothing like that. I'll be okay with it if we let Evan Engram go. And deep down, the only thing preventing me from like fully getting on board the idea of trading him is the fact because I do like him, but deep down, I know that it's right that we trade him because we could get some good assets out of it. I believe we could get a second, third round pick out of Evan Engram if we trade him before the draft. Afterwards, you never know. And I think if he plays another season with the Giants, whether it's that they franchise tag him or they, they just keep him on for the last year on his rookie contract, whatever the case is, I think his stock is going to drop. That's just the way the NFL works. But on Evan Engram, I see no reason to keep him. And I didn't even need to bring in that much stats. All I brought in was an overview of his stats. I didn't bring in, the Giants' offensive rankings with or without him or anything like that because you guys are Giants fans. That's, most of the fans that watch my content are Giants fans. I do have a couple Cowboys fans out there. I think I saw like one Eagle fan, but even they know what I said is backed up even without the stats, that there's not really a difference in the Giants offense when Evan Engram is there versus when he's not there. And, tight ends are replaceable. That's just how it is. But let me know what you guys think. I know this might not be a very agreeable opinion, but I'm fine with that. Put your comments down below. Do you guys want to keep Engram? And if so, why? Let me know. Actually, type out your response down. And who would you trade him to? Who you think would want to take Evan Engram? Who needs a tight end right now? But that's what I got for y'all today. Like, share, subscribe. I'm out. Yeah. Alright guys, thanks for watching. Put your comments down below. Make sure you smash that like button, subscribe, and turn on post notifications. Until next time, I'm out. Yeah.